Hi there, everyone. Meteorologist Adam Claibon here with you on this Wednesday and the 1-year anniversary. 1 year since our bomb cyclone back in November of 2024. And boy, it was certainly a storm to remember. We're going to go over some tidbits on this here. Going to show you really quickly on what we saw with that and also get into the forecast for the next few days. Maybe a few showers around, but overall a pretty quiet end to the work week before the weekend does become a bit more active and cooler air will arrive heading on into Thanksgiving week. But first, yes, let's get into that bomb cyclone from back in last year. You can see that really strengthening as we got towards the end of this video, and you can see that well-defined circulation that starts to pop up. That's really indicative of a strong storm, and at that time we started to see the pressure really drop. And when you see the pressure of a storm drop, then you're talking about a strengthening system. And a strengthening system, you're also going to have stronger winds. So let's talk about a few highlights right here. Within a 24-hour period, the pressure of that storm went from 1,011 millibars down to 945 millibars. And whenever you fall below 1,000 millibars with a storm, you're going to get into some pretty strong territory, and you're going to start to develop more of those strong winds. And for it to be technically considered a bomb cyclone, you have to drop 24 hours within that 24-hour period, 24 millibars. And you can see we well outperformed that. A couple of other things, 600,000 people plus without power at the height of this storm. And we also had a pretty strong storm where we had another storm drop below 1,000 millibars earlier this year in February. That only dropped down to 980, so we didn't have quite as much impact with that one, but certainly a strong storm. And yes, we are going to continue to recap and have obviously more studies on what really made that storm so strong and powerful. Now, this is the max reported wind gusts for today. You can see some breezy conditions here across some parts of western Washington, typically around about 20 to 25, closer to 30 miles per hour in a few spots. Not a huge issue, and as we go into the night, there is one particular spot that is under a wind advisory. We're going to show you where that is, but that should be ending here during the first half of the night. Then we'll head into the day on Thursday. For the most part, see dry conditions, maybe a few showers around early into the morning, but most of the rain heading into the weekend as highs get up into the mid-50s. Then begin to fall back into the 40s. I mean, well into the 40s as we head on into next work week. Short work week for many of us, and Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, only a high of 44 degrees, some moisture around. Certainly going to see some snow into the mountains, so hopefully we won't be dealing with too much of an issue when it comes to travel, but we'll talk about that here in a second. Here's Port Angeles here into this Wednesday evening. Skies beginning to darken, but clearing out a little bit too here as we get into the first part of the night. Also noticing a few of those clouds out there too here from Seattle as temperatures hold pretty steady in more of the upper 40s. We'll drop down here into the night, more mid to upper 40s for overnight lows. Not going to drop a whole lot as we'll have a little more of that south wind and better chances of rain coming in after midnight. Here's the radar. You can start to see some of those showers popping up on the radar imagery, and a lot of that still off of the coast. What's going to happen though is that we're going to have a batch of that moisture head off to the north and also off to the south. And off to the south is where we expect to see some of the heavier precipitation dropping down into Oregon and California eventually with this as the system approaches. So not too much rain coming from it for us as we head on here into the night. Let's talk about that wind advisory that's still with us. We have that in place until 10 p.m. tonight for those central King County foothills and valleys where we could see some of those gusts up to 45 miles per hour. We're talking areas closer to Bellevue, but more so as you head farther east, closer to Issaquah, North Bend, even getting up there closer to Tanner. So something to keep in mind if you're going to be out there or really around throughout the night, but shouldn't be a huge concern for us. And as we look at future wind gusts, you can see that particular spot really being lit up with some of the stronger gusts up until about 11 p.m. tonight. Now, up around Camano Whidbey Island, we'll definitely see some of the stronger gusts there too, as we'll get up to around maybe 25 to 30, maybe 35 miles per hour. That will be the other spot to really keep an eye out for stronger gusts into the night. But the rest of us will keep those winds around about, I would say, 15 to 25 for a lot of the evening. Storm is still making its way through as we head on into the latter part of the night. And we'll have that front bring us some showers into the earlier part of the day for tomorrow, but then things do start to quiet down with the rain as well as the wind as we go deeper on into tomorrow afternoon. Let's talk about the precipitation and what we're expecting as far as rain or either any mountain snow. Now, the mountain snow is going to be limited because snow levels are still going to be pretty high, but as we look at Tomorrow, or tonight, sorry, at 9 p.m., you can see some of those showers approaching the coast. That band finds its way closer to I-5, but here we are at 6 to 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. A lot of that band has already begun to break down, and we'll see at that point very few in terms of steady showers around the area. We'll have some pockets of light to maybe moderate rain as we start off the day on Thursday, but as we continue on into the morning and into the afternoon, a lot of that just completely disappears. So we'll dry out and we'll see more pockets of sunshine as we head on into tomorrow afternoon and into the first part of tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, of course, clearing skies without the sun. We'll keep clear skies around, maybe some fog for again early into Friday morning. And as we continue on into Friday, well, here we are expecting to see some of those showers returning. A lot of that is going to stay off to the north as we expect most of the moisture into the weekend to stay near and north and west of Seattle, with a lot more of the rain to come, maybe more so Sunday into Monday. Now, speaking of rainfall totals, this system here tonight into tomorrow, limited stuff really around for us, 1/10 to maybe 1/4 of an inch. We start to get some of those higher totals out towards Quileute, the north coast, with that next system coming in as we head on into Friday night and into the day on Saturday. And you can kind of see that's going to be hanging with us as we head into the weekend, especially for spots closer to the Canadian border. Here we are at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Still that band of rain well off to the north, but it is starting to work its way southward. So that's when we'll start to see some of the heavier precipitation arrive heading on into Sunday and on into the day on Monday as that pushes on by. It's behind that we have this push of colder air that's really going to start to settle on in, and that's going to drop a lot of our highs back down into the 40s as we head on into next work week for Thanksgiving week. So the chillier air, it's on the way, and that will come along with some lower snow levels too at that point. But check this out as we head on into Tuesday. Maybe a little bit of a break in terms of some of the active weather there. So if you want to use that as a travel day, if you can, it might be a pretty good day for you to do so. Then once we head on into Wednesday, you can start to see this next system arriving and getting a bit closer and helping to produce more mountain snow. And yes, it looks like some moderate to heavier rain here across parts of the Pacific Northwest, namely up this way around western Washington. Still got a few days away, but maybe a cooler and a wetter period for us heading on into Thanksgiving Day and maybe the day after too for Black Friday. So let's talk temperatures. We'll see highs over the next few days in the low to mid 50s. By Monday, we start to see the cool down. Highs falling back down to 49 degrees at that point, and we'll keep a lot of the 40s around as we head on into next work week. Average highs at 51, so we're going to be off of that each and every one of those days. Just pretty close, though, as we head on into the 28th. That will be Black Friday of next week as we top off at 50 degrees. Tonight's forecast, lows dropping down between the low to mid 40s. So still a pretty cool night, just not quite as cold as this morning where we had a lot of those 30s and some of that patchy fog. For tomorrow, here we are seeing highs in the low 50s around Anacortes, 52 in Bellingham, 51 in Blaine, up to 49 in Cedro-Woolley. We'll see a high of 52 around Oak Harbor, getting up to 51 degrees. We'll get up to 53 in Clinton, mid-50s around Redmond, Maple Valley hitting 52 degrees, 53 in Bremerton, highs across South Sound, mainly in the mid-50s with more of that sunshine towards the afternoon hours after seeing a few light showers during the morning. We'll top off at 53 in Centralia, over towards Morton at 51. Long Beach getting up to 53 degrees, and more so the 50s out here towards the coast with some 40s as you get closer to Lake Crescent and over towards the whole rainforest. 49 in Lake Cushman, 54 in Shelton, Quilcene topping off at 53 degrees. Here's your 7-day forecast, and again, for the most part, I think a relatively quiet end to the work week. Not too much rain around, and we'll see highs in the lower to mid-50s with not as much of that chill around for the morning hours. We definitely lose a bit on the chill during the morning hours over the weekend, but that's when we're going to start to introduce higher rain chances for both Saturday and Sunday, mainly more so Saturday night into Sunday and then into Monday. And then we'll keep an eye out for that cool air to really settle in as we head on into Thanksgiving week. Okay, everyone, for those of us who are going to be in that central King County area where we talked about the wind advisories, keep an eye and an ear out for maybe any sort of stronger winds, maybe a few branches falling, but hopefully it won't be a big issue for us tonight and into the day tomorrow. If you're going to be heading out early in the morning, make sure to have the rain gear with you and just prepare for a bit of a wet drive. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful Wednesday night and a tremendous Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.